Agung Stulang YB Andrew Chen, Madrid Southern Regional Director Mr. Zwazizi Zulkifli, Dato' MK Wong, Dato' JJ Wong, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of Impact Rank, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for taking time to be here with us. Some of you have traveled quite a distance, our friends from across the causeway, friends from KL, Malacca, and also Mr. Riaz from the Maldives. Thank you. We are truly honored. My name is Roy and I'm the MC for today. Now, before we start the seminar proper, I would like to direct your attention to the little handout that you have in your bag. It shows the layout of our company. This is for safety reasons. In case of any emergencies, you need to follow the red dotted lines to the nearest exit. The nearest exit here is behind me, right here, and the door that you came in from. In case there's a change in air pressure, mask will fall in front of you. No, actually, no. Pretending I'm a steward, air steward. Okay. First of all, I would like to now invite our Managing Director, Mr. James Chang, to give us an opening address. Mr. Chang, please.
Hi, everyone. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Chang, Managing Director of Impack. And thanks for your time to attend today's seminar. I'm also delighted to share that we have two important guests with us today. Firstly, we have YB and Wilson Ing, and Madrid Southern Region's Director, Mr. Du Abidis. These are exciting days, and we have company coming from all fields to better understand on this area. And how can we become cultivative and better environment? We will be speaking to topic with increasing of concern and action of the use of plastic, how biodegradable plastic work, and how VCF plastic can both environmentally friendly and cost effective. We have invited two specialists from USA. First one is from Biologics, Mr. Ron Davis, Vice President of the Biodegradable Department, and Mr. Scott Harris, Vice President from Global Commonwealth, to share more. I hope at the end of this section, it will enable you to see new perspective and the innovation of new age of plastics and advantage and impact on the environment. We have prepared a short video clip on our company and hope you will enjoy. Thank you.
Dato' Yan Chang, Dato' JJ's representative from Matrix, and our honorable speakers and all the distinguished guests. Very good afternoons. And first of all, I would like to extend my greatest appreciations to Impact Ranks for inviting us to be here today to gain some knowledge and exposures on Impact Ranks and on plastic and biodegradable things. And today's we are very our team here from my group also. I bring about 10 of them here today. They are our local ahli majlis, local councillors, community leaders, and this is one of our outreach initiative to get in touch and to engage with the peoples, with the industry players, so that we can get some feedback from industries, and at the same time we get some exposures for ourselves, and also we convey our governmental message, etc. So this is one of our outreach programs that we are going to continue to do, not only with industry players, but also governmental agencies. And talking about biodegradables, science or plastic, I think all of you here, or you all know better than us. So I won't talk a lot of biodegradable plastic issue. But one thing is that I think all of us know that because of conventional petroleum plastics, whereby this is one of the trends to our environment, and Kuala Lumpur also have since 1.5 years ago also encouraged people to use biodegradable plastics, and because of the cost or whatever reasons, the uptake is still not encouraging. And what we can see now from our market is most of our retailers, they still use the petroleum plastics, which is about one piece, about maybe 6 or 7 cents per pieces. I'm not sure that if I'm wrong, correct me. Then they absorb the cost. And of course, if we can increase the demand of biodegradable plastic, of course, the cost will be cheaper. And of course, if the manufacturers can reduce the cost and the price of the biodegradable plastics, of course, we can increase the demand for the biodegradable plastics. So I think, again, my greatest appreciations to Impact Rank, and congratulations, big round of applause today for organizing such a meaningful event with two expertise with us to give us more insight outlook and exposures, on the science of biodegradable and plastics. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. James Chang for inviting Madrid to join this program today. And I'd like to congratulate Impact Rank for organizing this I think a very interesting topic. It's a very focused topic. And I also like to welcome our expert from US. Welcome to Malaysia. I think it's not a good time to visit Malaysia for a couple of days. Lucky today, I think got better a few days back. Alright. As the Trade Promotion Agency of Malaysia, Martin would like to thank Impact Rank once again for organizing this seminar. And according to Department of Statistics Malaysia, I think in 2017, our total export of plastic products, various plastic products, amounted to about 32 billion within Malaysia. I think last year we have reached almost 38 billion. So you can see the growth of the future, the plastic industry in Malaysia. But if you were to read news lately, plastic waste is a major environmental issue around the world. The amount of plastic we produce to package consumer goods, especially fast-moving consumer goods (FMCG), have reached an unprecedented level. I think many countries have adopted several policies to save the environment from this plastic waste. I think Malaysia also, I think we have introduced a policy to curb this phenomenon. Government and businesses are now spending synthetic plastic by both reducing the public and industrial consumption of synthetic waste and finding a biodegradable and price competitive alternative for synthetic plastic. Concerns about synthetic plastic waste in the environment are contributing to demand for biodegradable plastic worldwide. I think there is no single solution to the plastic phenomenon. On one hand, the rate we are producing and consuming plastic is destroying our living planet. On the other, plastic is a lightweight, durable, and relatively cheap to produce material. The complex problems of plastic needs to be tackled from all fronts. The new materials need to have all the positive aspects of plastic, durable, lightweight, and cheap, and replace all the negative ones. Luckily for us, innovators from all over the world have been trying to invent plastic for a while now. And it is exciting to see the innovation coming up. They are simple and promising at the same time. With so much potential, yet so many challenges, what does the future hold for biodegradable plastic? I believe today's seminar will touch about the issue in more detail. Once again, I think I would like to thank Impact Rank for organizing this seminar, and I hope this seminar will offer a good platform to exchange ideas and to gain knowledge. Thank you very much.
Sit back, relax for a while, enjoy a video that we have prepared for you. This video will introduce to you who Impact Rank is and how we can support you in your business.
It's great to be here. It's always it's a pleasure to be here in Malaysia, and especially working with Impact Rank. We're very proud to be partnering with them and providing volatile corrosion inhibitors. I'm going to be very brief today because I know the main focus of this meeting today is about the biodegradable, but it's important to understand how the VCI volatile corrosion inhibitors are all part of the sustainable aspects of the products that Impact Rank is producing. VCI volatile corrosion inhibitors are an excellent alternative to using oils and greases that have to be cleaned, and then those oils and greases need to be disposed of through the cleaning process. So the VCI is a very clean process, and it's also, of course, very sustainable in terms of the metal, extending the life of the metal beyond its life as it endures harsh conditions. So I'm going to go through quickly about our capabilities and principles, products, and applications. And so we're basically, our strategic capabilities is we're a global company providing a single source for corrosion prevention. We really work towards reducing the cost of corrosion throughout the supply chain, and we work with the laboratory. We're Chicago-based, and we've got divisions, as you can see on the globe here in Europe and in China, etc. You can see the map, but we also work closely with partners, key partners such as Impact Rank here in Southeast Asia. We're a company that goes back to 1935. We've been involved with the corrosion prevention business, and so through the process of time, we've developed products and solutions for industry. In that, Impact Rank is producing the the plastics, VCI plastics for us here locally. This localization obviously provides a key benefit to local manufacturers being able to get a product that is approved on a global basis by some of the largest end users in the industry. We also produce other VCI products in the forms of papers, liquids, and devices that are used in different ways. We really do working with manufacturers to reduce their costs and supply chain for corrosion. Corrosion is a natural phenomena, and one that we're just trying to slow down or stop as the metals are enduring transit or storage conditions. We have a very systematic approach from problem through solution, so we're very systematic about how we're working through the recommendations, and we've been able to work with Impact Rank in working with key end users locally to follow the process and find ways to improve the processes that are being done. Part of our roadmap is to look at the metrics, which I won't go into here, but just to give you an understanding, there's a lot of aspects that go into the decisions for selecting the right products. Our laboratories are key to our company's strength, and we do all types of corrosion testing. Corrosion testing is done for not only quality control, but also product development. We do customer metal testing, as well as competitive analysis, industry conformance. Industry conformance these days is a very important thing. Our lab is accredited, it's ISO accredited, so we have the most number of tests that are accredited in ISO in our industry. So again, we're taking a leadership role on that. Back to the environment, and we're all talking about the environment today. Dover Chemical is, as a chemical company, is we see the environment as a very important aspect to maintain a high level of global acceptance and responsibility. So to that end, some of these acronyms make sense to some of you and not to others, but in general, we are very much involved throughout the process of making sure that the products that are being produced in this manufacturing plant, as well as those being used by Impact Rank and our customers, are safe, and they're qualified for the best use in terms of the environment. We are also looking at developing some of the biodegradable aspects of the VCI, so this is perhaps the future as well. As a manufacturer, our key industries are automotive, heavy equipment, fabricated metal products, electronics, and aviation aerospace. So these are the key end users for the VCI products. We are also seeing an emergence in the oil and gas and energy and infrastructure industries. So our products are commonly used in the oil and gas, but what we're pushing into and trying to educate the wind power and solar industries are advanced use of our products where lessons learned from other industries. So this is kind of an exciting challenge because some of these industries are not as old and they don't know the challenges that they will face in 20 years. We're trying to help them anticipate that and to make sure that when they face those, they're going to be in good shape. We're going to go real quickly on why metals corrode and how VCI works. Generally, metals corrode because it's a natural process. It's Mother Nature. We're not going to be able to ignore it at any stage. What happens is when you get a piece of iron ore from the ground, it's processed, energy is added. All through its entire life, that energy wants to leave that metal. It wants to leave its high energy state. To that end, that's rust. Rusting process is that reducing of the energy in that metal. So it's a natural process. And again, if we ignore it, it'll take place. If we try to slow it down or control it, that's our goal. Basically, corrosion, without getting into a science class here, is it's a reaction. It's an electrochemical reaction. And what we think about corrosion is typically at the cathode. Which one? This one. Oh, that is bad. There we go. Sorry about that. When we think about corrosion as the cathode, because this is the reduction, this is when we think about red rust. So that's all just part of the process of corrosion. So basically, to prevent corrosion, we're basically trying to create a barrier from the outside element and apply a rust preventant. And we think about rust preventant, we think of oils, greases, even paint. But temporary protection typically is in oil and grease. But the problem with that is that it has limitations in its life, especially if products are stored for a long time in hot, humid conditions, such as we have here in Southeast Asia, or if the products are exported and temperature changes take place. So there's a lot of challenges on putting an oil on a metal part to protect it. The VCI, volatile corrosion inhibitor, works as a vapor that transfers from its carrier, which might be paper or plastic in this case, all the devices and such. We load up that carrier with the VCI. That VCI will transfer through a phenomenon called adsorption, not absorption, but adsorption. Adsorption literally transfers the chemical by vapor to the metal surface, forming a 4 to 5 molecular layer surface on the metal. It will remain there quite indefinitely as long as it's not disturbed. So this is a temporary protection while it's in a packaging environment. So not all VCRs are alike, and we won't get into all again the chemistries and such, but there's a complex matter of types of chemistries, amount of chemistries, what is used, what the carriers are, and again, we're working always to have full control on those things. Surface contamination is always a challenge. If you've got a dirty piece of metal, the VCI will not be able to get to the surface. So we're always looking at best practices to make sure that the metal is prepared and can accept the VCI to protect it. Water, on the other hand, is something that we live with, and we know that it's literally impossible to control water. So our VCIs are especially water soluble, and they mix well with water. We can have a water-based VCI. As far as products go, we talked about we make VCI plastics. And again, these plastics are being locally extruded here, and we've got the ability to provide a very customized approach to the local manufacturers in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. It can be also made in different forms, whether it's a shrink film or various types of plastics that Impack Rank can make. We also make VCI paper, which I mentioned. Devices are basically saturated pads and carriers and foams and such that we also load up with our chemistries. And of course, there's our rust preventive liquids. So So as far as just thinking about how these products look in their environment, we've got, in this case, a couple applications to show you. This is just an engine. You can see basically it's simple as putting a bag around an engine. This bag has been treated with the VCI. Other applications where we're introducing both the VCI paper as well as the plastic, we're basically mixing media to provide the benefits of each. For examples. So again, we're not here on too much on packaging design today, but I just want to give you some examples of some of the applications that you'll see and opportunities for us to use products. One of the things we do take care of is make sure that the packaging design incorporates the VCI and is able to get to the metal. In this case, if you had a metal parts in a bin and you close that up, the center section here is pretty much exposed to the, it can't get the VCI. The VCI will travel up to about 30 centimeters. So what is an application is to add some of the either VCI paper or plastic interleaving, as we call it, so that you get more VCI inside. It's quite simple, but it's just a matter of making sure that the concepts are understood. There's other applications. We do a good amount of work in the military. So these are just examples here. So these are just some best practices, which I'm not going to get into. It's a little too deep on the topic. But this has just been a quick overview as to volatile corrosion inhibitors. We're very excited about working with Impact Rank in Southeast Asia. And hopefully we'll have a chance to see some of you in the future as well. Thank you.
Some of my colleagues that I'd like you to know here in the audience. Let's see, Kai, where are you guys? Oh, there you are, taking pictures in the back. Kai is wearing a white shirt from Taiwan, supporting us here today, and Terry from Hong Kong. And then, of course, we have Chris from Ficonics, our partners in Singapore, and David and Casey. Where are you guys? Oh, I see, way in the back. So we want to thank them, and particularly James, for what he's done here to pull this group together. I want to start by talking about the product that we make. And Kai, I wonder if you can bring me the right one there. The one that's the pure new plastic, no, the pellets. Oh, here we go. Help me here for a minute, will you, Chris? You can just hold the microphone while I'm doing it. I'm going to open this product. This is what we make. It's edible. We had a good lunch, so I only took a small. It's made from corn, potatoes, Malaysian palm oil, and what else? Cassava, also coming from Malaysia. But this very unusual product is a new technology, and really our company is a technology company. We're founded with a group of scientists. We continue to be staffed with a group of scientists. We have partners that you would have heard of, like Dow Chemical, other famous brands that are working with us. Many of the brands we're not able to talk about because we've signed non-disclosure confidentiality agreements. Our job is to work with industry and with the public sector to help solve this problem of waste. Now, we're here today talking about plastic. People don't like plastic, right? James, I'm sorry. It's what's happening in the world. And unless there are solutions, as our distinguished speakers mentioned before, we see the future possibility of plastic being banned. And so we're as aggressive, I think, as our partners at Impact Rank on trying to find solutions to approach more naturally the use of plastics in a more friendly environmental setting. So, biologic, sustainable solutions for a new plastics economy. Our company was founded in 2011 in a potato field in Idaho, a small town, and our goal has been, from the beginning, as I mentioned, to establish useful plastic from renewable natural sources. Recently, in Davos, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum met again. They meet every year. 4 years ago, they started a new study called the New Plastics Economy. This study is now informing governments and municipalities and industry around the world as to the direction that new technology, as was mentioned by one of our speakers, the innovations that are coming, and how do we apply those, and what standards and laws and policies do we establish. So this forum said, look, we want to do three basic things. We want to create an after use for plastic. We want to decouple plastic from fossil fuel. And if plastic does leak into the environment, we want a way for it to naturally biodegrade or to go away. So we're proud to say at Biologic that we know how to do all three of these primary goals. We have earned some certifications. The United States Department of Agriculture has certified we are 100% bio-based, all natural. Otherwise, I wouldn't be eating the stuff, right? And it's all made from plants. Whoops, back. Completely made from plant-based, and glycerin that I mentioned is sourced from palm oil. So all natural ingredients. So once we've made the resin, the one that Chris held up and showed us here a minute ago, at the beginning, the resin needs to be blended and mixed with other plastics to form effective products. Terry is standing in the back by a whole range of products that are on the side here, none of which we made. We made the basic resin, and Hachi is holding up a bag that is going into 7-Eleven stores in Japan. And Terry is standing by some boxes that are being used to carry fruit from the agricultural fields, notebooks for Staples office supply, white cups for Starbucks. So the brand and the applications are being discovered by leaders in the industry, some of which I mentioned we can talk about. We can talk about Coca-Cola and their work with us. We can talk about Adidas and Vans, the sporting good, the apparel. Many, many groups are discovering this technology and finding ways to introduce it into their products. Our process is very simple. We start with the raw material, the starch, and then we have a proprietary process to turn that starch into these pellets that I just ate. Again, all natural. Once we get to that point, then we blend it in what's called compounding. We blend it into a variety of different resins using polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrene, very soon ABS, so a very broad range of plastics and polymers. We have many of these on the shelf back here, actual commercial products. So we've taken now these families and broken them into a couple of broad categories. We call them XP for extra performance, usually used in films, and Impact Rank is becoming quite expert in blending our plastics with other film-based products. And then the XD, which is extra durability for thermoforming, injection molding, and those kinds of applications. So the XP resins, any question? No. The XP resins, you can see the kinds of products that can be made. Garbage bags, packaging, grocery store checkout bags, many items. The XD resins, we're doing all these speakers for Iowa, working with Adidas, toy companies, many applications where our resin can blend with these what we call legacy resins, the polypropylenes and the ABSs. So together, after we blend it, we call the product a bio blend, and they have some peculiar characteristics for which we've been granted our first patent, and we have 11 more in process. First, we know for certain that we reduce fossil fuel. because we're replacing natural fossil fuel oil-based product with plant-based product. The other thing that's been quite surprising is when we add this to polyethylenes, for example, we increase the strength. This is counterintuitive. You think when you add a plant-based product into an engineered plastic like polyethylene that it would become weaker, and therefore you have to make up for it by making the plastic thicker. But James is going to test, and we know from some of the samples you'll see here, that we've been actually able to make the plastic thinner and stronger. Well, that has a direct impact on the environment. We start by using less plastic, and then the plastic that we do use has this characteristic of certainly reducing greenhouse gas, but we'll show you in a minute, becoming biodegradable. Most of the famous brands now and the big companies are asking when they have us walk in the door and tell our story, tell us your life cycle analysis. Where does the product come from? What comes from corn, potato, glycerin? And then what's involved in the cost of making the product? Well, there's transportation, there's electricity. And all of this goes into a representation of the life cycle of a product. And in our case, because we're starting with negative carbon dioxide from plants, when we blend with the other polymers, we start by a dramatic reduction in greenhouse gas. So the takeaway number that Walmart wants to hear me talk about is this number right here, the reduction in greenhouse gas. Every time I make a plastic bag for Walmart, they have a story that they've reduced greenhouse gas, they've reduced their carbon footprint by 28% on that particular bag. It obviously goes up and down depending on the blends and the kinds of products we're making. So the other kind of exciting blends, we've developed one, a BC grade, and I think we've got some samples of that here from Ficonics. The BC grade is actually biodegradable and has earned the certifications in European markets of OK Compost and Home Compost. We have also developed a marine biodegradable. This is a surprise. To my knowledge, it's been the first plastic bag that we're aware of that has biodegraded in ocean water. This is an exciting story. So the BC grades are used for things like cutlery, for agricultural mulch film. They're designed to compost and break down and biodegrade according to the standards that are established by these regulatory bodies. The marine grade is same characteristics, but we've tested it and we have certifications now that it will biodegrade in ocean water. It's the first certification I've ever seen for a plastic product that has that kind of qualification. So these tests, if we take the pure resin that Trish held up here a moment ago, and we test it according to these laboratory settings, the marine grade testing the resin will biodegrade in 28 days. The other basic resin, the new plastic, will 27 days in a landfill setting. So remarkable new technology. Here's a test where we blended our BC grades with the PBAT from a German petrochemical, and that piece of film biodegraded in 45 days. So we can engineer this to biodegrade very quickly, or in some cases last for a year or two or more, depending on what the application that the customer needs. So our tests are supported. Roy and I talked about this earlier. They're supported by third-party laboratories. And the laboratory testing, if we have some time, I'll go and show you some laboratory tests actually that show how these items are tested. So we produce the films, or the resins, and James produces the films. But what you have to understand is every time a new product is produced, it has to undergo its own separate individual testing in third-party laboratories. And there are testing agencies all over the world that know how to do this. So that's sort of the end of my comments about bioresins. Again, the families are high performance films, high density strength injection molded. Compostable resins, mostly being sold into the European market, and then the newest kid on the block is marine biodegradable. The one thing that they all have in common is that they're plant-based, all of our different families of resin. They all also have in common that they reduce greenhouse gas, they reduce the carbon footprint. The compounding resins you see here, polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrene, polycarbonate, SAN, TPE, PLA, PBAT, PHA, a lot of resins that we can blend with to make a variety of different products. End of life, part of the life cycle, the polyethylenes we can recycle. The injection molded parts are recyclable. BCs are industrial compostable, and then the marines are, of course, marine biodegradable. We have a chart here, and James and Phaconics can share this with you. That's kind of a more detailed approach of what are you trying to do if you're designing a product. You want a product that is designed for a certain application to reduce cost, that can be recycled, that can reduce weight, then you want to work with our polymer grades. You want one that's going to meet the European standards, the certifications, then we work with our biodegradable compostable grades. To our knowledge, we have the lowest cost bioresin in the world. Our basic resin costs $1.65 a kilogram. And some of the other resins that are available from Mitsubishi, from NatureWorks, from Total Corbion, from Cardia, these guys are $3 to $5 a kilogram. So we're in a good place to introduce this technology, and the fact that it's made from natural, renewable sources makes the story better. So a peek at the future. These are some of the tests that we've done with that show the rate of degradation. 177 days for the polystyrene, 370 for, what's this, a film, a Walmart potato bag. This one was a polypropylene product in a landfill that Harry's going to hold up there, that little green box. Yeah, that one biodegraded 241 days in a landfill. 349 days for another film in a landfill. Now, landfill biodegradation is extremely difficult. These other biodegradations are occurring in laboratory settings with artificial conditions. But to be able to do this in a landfill is a significant accomplishment. So that's our message on who we are and what we do. A good point to pause if there are questions or comments. We're going to go into another one now, right, Chris?
No photos.
Huh? Oh, okay. Some of what I'm going to show you here are confidential scientific activities that are underway. And I will show you if you'll commit not to take any pictures of the screen. I'm serious. So, this claim of biodegradation, what is it? How does it work? What really is happening? We've heard talk about OXO today, and Impact Rank knows as well. They've been responding to customers who want OXO in their plastic. OXO causes fragmentation. What's the difference between fragmentation and biodegradation? You know? Roy knows. Biodegradation is a natural process that occurs by bacteria actually eating something and excreting enzymes and breaking down whatever they're eating even further and faster. OXO, fragmentation, breaking things into little pieces. And we don't want that in the Maldives, right? We don't want the fish eating little pieces of plastic. Now, I just ate some plastic, but it was natural plastic, right? And it's okay if the fish eat this stuff, right? So again, just a quick tutorial on biodegradation and some of the things that we're learning with the help of our team of scientists. This, for example, this would be a piece of film, and the little dots in there that you see are our product dispersed throughout the structure, the film structure. Here's a photograph, 1,000 times magnification, looking down at the surface of the film. And when we apply some dye, we can actually see the little particles of starch that are distributed evenly throughout the film. Now and this was 1,000 magnification. This one is 4,000 magnification. Take a piece of film and turn it sideways and look at the edge. And what we're seeing here is these tiny little dots is a complete homogeneous distribution of a plant-based product throughout the plastic structure. So that's significant. The distribution, and not only the distribution, but the size of the particles. A starch particle, normally found in nature, would be 300 times larger than what this little particle is. So small size and complete distribution is what our technology is about. So we've done, and I won't go into too much detail here, but we've done an analysis of some biodegradation testing that was in progress. We stopped it and we took the samples that were 32% biodegraded, and we took them out and we looked at them. Biodegradation testing are done in chambers where they mix it with an inoculum or a mucky, dirty soil. They put little bits of plastic in there. And then what's happening, you measure the carbon dioxide that's escaping. So essentially you're counting atoms that escape in a gaseous form. So in this case, we took these little bits here and we analyzed them. We scrubbed them and we studied them and we found out they had more than 600 kinds of microorganisms living there. And then we did the DNA on the microorganisms, if you can imagine. So we know who these critters are that are eating this plastic. So then we analyzed this at 32% biodegradation. We took another picture at 1,000 magnification. So what are we going to find? Is there still some new plastic left here? Yeah, there's still some left. It's 32% gone. We thought that what would go away would be the natural ingredients, but not so, because they're completely blended, homogenously blended throughout the structure. So the predictions were that it would be only the starch product that's going away. We found no, not the case. What we're able to do, you can count, if you know your chemistry, C12 and C14 are carbons. One is called a new carbon and the other is an old carbon. The old carbon comes from fossil fuel. The new carbon comes from plants. So we were able to go in with the laboratory of beta analytics and look at what happened. What did that piece of plastic look like now? And we found that the new carbon was still completely and evenly distributed throughout the product. Then we did some more analysis. We took a competitor's product, a company that's just coming into Malaysia, I think, and we looked at their product under 1,000 magnification, and we could see lots of little clumps of starch. And then we looked at our product, and we found tiny, tiny little spots, a more complete, more homogeneous blend. Then we looked again in the same piece of film sideways, and we found the competitor. See these large clumps of starch? Those are dispersed, and because they're clumpy and bulky like that, they cause the product to be weaker. And then on the new plastic side, we found that our pieces were smaller than 1 micron. They had a dart strength more than 2 times stronger than this plastic in the same thickness of film. So this is some of the stuff that we're doing that is quite confidential. We're working with science laboratories to show the biodegradation process. And these films that I showed you, polyethylene in a test chamber does nothing. Cellulose is the standard, it biodegrades very quickly. And our product biodegrades at a steady linear rate. And in this case, a plastic bag gone in 340 days. So these are the kinds of laboratory tests that we have. And they're available. It's startling news because we're talking about polymers now. Entire structures that are polyethylene and new plastic, the entire structure is gone. What's left? Carbon dioxide and water. No microplastics, nothing, and we've got, obviously we're showing you some of the things that we have to demonstrate this. So this is a similar analysis, and this one is done with HIPS, with polystyrene. And again, a very rapid, linear, steady biodegradation that occurred in about, looks like about 200 days. A piece of polystyrene biodegraded. So that's where we are with our science. And the effort that we're undertaking now is to work with people like-minded like yourself, with the government agencies, with manufacturers like Impact Rank, to find together what applications are you pursuing and how can we apply this science to solutions. So thank you for your attention. I look forward to questions, and feel free to walk around and to look at our products and samples, ask our team. Roy, back to you.